Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Welcome to Local Yokelz. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. The recording button has been smashed, as the YouTubers say, and it has commenced. Welcome back, Dusty, my friend. How are you?
Good. Surviving Wenatchee.
The Wenatchee thrash, man.
Yeah.
I read recently that they had moved Apple Blossom to perhaps June. Is that right?
Yeah.
Does that sound right to you?
Today actually would have been the classy chassis day.
That's what I was thinking about that like all week, dude. I was like, there would have been shit going on in the valley this week.
They're supposedly going to be cruising the app tonight, tomorrow. Whatever that means.
Some sort of
yeah, they're pushing it to June after last year being canceled, and I was just like, thank God.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I really hope they pull it off to some degree, because dude, man, Apple Blossom's such a fucking fun time, though.
Yeah, all those vendors and stuff that kind of got fucked up with food fair, all that money lost.
Yeah, dude. That's what I was wondering about it last year. I was like, I wonder how much money they had to spend, just booking shit and then calling it off. I bet the city lost a ton of money on that.
Not to mention all the tourist dollars that should have been flowing in. And
yeah, dude. Yeah, honestly, it's if you think about it, it's a pretty big moment for the economy, the local valley economy there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. Well, hopefully, the cruising doesn't get out of control. I just remember legendary cruising stories from people when I was younger. I think I maybe hit the avenue once.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did when it was wild.
Maybe but I remember. The Vines brothers had a story from their dad taking them once or something like that, and it involved titties and beads.
Oh, that's the thing. I'm like, it's like a white trash Mardi Gras.
That's
down there. I mean,
pretty much.
Washington State doesn't have a drunken public law, so that probably didn't help either.
No, dude. I remember hearing just stories of debauchery and just craziness on the avenue. It made you wonder what was it built this mysterious element to the whole idea of cruising. And I think by the time we were kind of more in that age range of people that would try to hit up the avenue. Yeah, those were when the no cruising signs were posted.
Yeah, and then the cops killed it. And
yeah, dude. I mean,
what could have been legendary times.
Could have been. Damn you, Wenatchee PD. Yeah, man. So we've got some stuff going on this week. There's been some good music, some good music drops this week. There's been some really good entertainment just in general, flowing out lately, I feel like. But you brought up the newest Manchester Orchestra album to me earlier this week, and kind of put it back on my radar. I had remembered reading that there's something coming up, and with my Spotify, I was just sort of I dropped it. But how do you feel about it overall?
I like it. I think it's one of the best albums I've ever put out.
Yeah, dude.
Especially as you listen to it, definitely has grown on me a lot. Because at first listen to it, I'm not sure if I'm feeling this.
Yeah.
But then there's some songs that just really hook you.
Yeah.
Especially as you listen more and more.
Absolutely, man.
Just the more the composition of some of them was just outrageous.
Oh man, yeah,
like that dinosaur song is sick.
I was just gonna say, you know, when we were kind of texting back and forth, you mentioned the dinosaur song, so I kind of listened to it a few times in particular, and that song is dude, it's fucking wild. It's such a good song, man. I immediately put it into like my weekly playlist that I've been trying to build, and so I was just like, oh, yeah, it's a jammer, dude. Yeah, I was just, I mean, like, honestly, like, I always expect, like, we talked about them, you know, before, but I always expect like kind of like heavy yet uplifting music from them, which is like this strange dynamic that not very many like, you know, musicians pull off, I'd say. And they definitely like, you know, there's some moments where you feel really like lifted, and there's also some really grounding moments in this album. And
like that one line that, like, you know, you feel like you're dead, you know, talking to someone who's dead. But you're not alone. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
The last album was so fucking depressing, and like, you know, shooting up a fucking grocery store and stuff. But this is definitely more of like a coming up. You know,
I agree, man. I agree. I think that last album, they, you know, and purposely built it for like that low moment. You know, I mean, it was definitely not supposed to be.
Definitely had a narrative and a concept. Yeah,
it wasn't supposed to be like a bright album, honestly. And I think this, if it was for some people, they have a very twisted sense of the worldview. This I think kind of was like almost like not like a redemption, because it's not like they were trying to, like, you know, make up for anything, but it definitely like had this just, I don't know, more hopeful tone to it in some departments, I'd say. But
reminded me more of their older stuff, like A Virgin Losing a Child and Mean Everything to Nothing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely
more of a rock album.
Yeah, the Mean Everything to Nothing comparison for sure. Like, except you know, it's interesting. They've really done a good job, kind of incorporating some like synth stuff and like electronic stuff into parts of their songs. It's not like very heavy, and thank God for that. But like, you know, I think it shows this album's like really helps show their evolution like along the way. They're kind of keeping up with like certain things happening around them, but they're definitely like staying true to their sound, which is really cool.
Yeah, I noticed that, like, she's talking about that song Bedhead and how he came up with like the music for it. He started out with he took the drummer's electrical drum set and then he put it through a like distortion pedal. Oh, see that sick drum sound that's like distorted.
It's like, that's fucking like,
it's like shit like that you don't think of, but it's awesome.
Yeah, well, dude, it's like that stuff. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know how many times I've just like dicked around with just like a couple of random things just to see what sound it makes, you know. Especially like into a mic or so, into like a recording. And I mean, I think it's always a creative thing to try to just like create, well, that's redundant, but I think it's always like a really interesting thing to try to create, you know, some sort of like extra sound from, you know, something like a synth drum set. You know, like run that shit through some fucking crunch, you know, run that through some fuzz. I don't know, just see what happens, man. And I don't know, I just like I definitely like I've been listening to this album over the last like handful of days, and I don't think I'm done listening to this album, you know what I mean? Like,
for sure,
you know. And that's, God, dude, like that's something that like they've been one of those rare kind of like modern rock bands that I can say that for, where it's like, you know, like multiple of their albums I can still reflect back on, and this definitely falls into that. So, you know,
for me it was like, I was when I first started listening to him, very I was 20. You know, so you got to go through all those life experiences, and then you have that, and it just kind of takes you back. And it is true, him coming from I think his dad was a pastor in the South, so that's where you get a lot of like religious stuff built in the music. But he's not religious. He's definitely like has his issues or has had issues.
It's not like necessarily resentment, it sounds like, but it's like you know, it's like he writes lyrics that try to like humanize or like make sense of like some of these like perhaps beliefs that he was surrounded by, you know, and it makes for really interesting content, you know, because I think a lot of people, like, I can fucking connect with that. Like though my dad never went to church in a day of our childhood, like he made damn sure that me and my brothers went with our mom every Sunday, you know.
It's definitely that kind of relation. You're like,
but you know, it's interesting, and like I think it really adds a certain perspective that I don't know. I don't think you necessarily always get, because I don't think he's like I don't think he really sings about like and sort of like hates on any sort of belief system necessarily, but he, you know, just like I said, he just sort of like, it's like his way of like trying to rationalize or like make sense of perhaps things he experienced through other people's beliefs. And I don't know, I think
especially being from the South.
Dude,
it's not like Ben Gibbard, where he's definitely like resenting the Catholic Church in all of his music, you know.
What's that? I can't even remember what song it is, but yeah, like there's like little lyrics he has about like getting like, you know, his knuckles, you know, whacked with.
I'll follow you into the dark.
Yeah.
From the Catholic school. Yeah, so he definitely, like, he's very much atheist nowadays. So
and exactly, that's a really good comparison. Like, he definitely has a little more like straightforward like resentment, I'd say. But God, dude, I haven't listened to like has Death Cab been making music? I feel like I haven't even like looked at Death Cab for Cutie in a hot second.
They put it on an album 2018. I know they're working on stuff, but the whole like last year he just did all these live from home stuff.
Yeah, I was seeing some.
They were like gearing up to tour last year, and then got shut down.
That got shut. Oh man, I mean, how do you feel about some live music being kind of like, you know, kind of coming back?
It'd be nice.
I hope
slowly but surely.
Yeah, I feel like I've been seeing bills for comedians and stuff like that lately, and I think it's like funny to think like comedians may be like the testing ground for live entertainment, but it kind of makes sense. You know, you have like
shorter
one performer,
sets.
you have a shorter sets, like so I hope, like, I've been seeing, like, you know, I haven't been reading negative things about, like, you know, some performances and whatnot, but I really wonder as the summer goes on if we're gonna be able to get some live music again, because dude, it would be so nice.
I would think so. I mean, I mean, there are only sporting events with fans, so what's the difference, you know? Yeah,
well, and
so it's like,
I'm hoping it happens.
If you're vaccinated or whatever, then go.
That's kind of my thinking on it. It'd be really fun. It'd be really fun to go hit up a baseball game sometime too, just for like the sheer like event
people.
Of it. You know what I mean? Like,
like, holy shit, there's people here.
It's like, it'll be fun to start opening back up possibilities like that. But you know, I think that's all summer stuff. So
I know. I mean, I see a lot of stuff like, July. You know, I've seen like stuff that's been popping up. I'm like, well, probably not Oregon, but Washington maybe, depending on the county.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But I mean, I mean, there's you know,
I think the Gorge has stuff scheduled. But
that's
what I'm not sure on.
But that's the thing, like the Gorge would be like a perfect place.
Oh, for sure.
You know, it's large, it's all outdoors, it's, you know,
you can just like have pods. I think that's kind of what they're doing at baseball games.
Yeah.
Like the Mariners, I think about like 9,000 fans, but they have it like in pods. Like, it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant, like, oh, this is my household. Yeah, my household, my 5 friends.
These 5 people here at my house. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, if that shit's working, then I think it's, you know, I encourage it. Let's, you know, keep that kind of momentum. But I think God, dude. I mean, like, I hate to be one of those people. I'm definitely getting restless with it, though. So,
yeah, because like Marymore Park over there I remember seeing. I saw Death Cab in Modest Mouth, no, Decemberists there. Oh. It's a decent sized little park.
Yeah,
it has a solid stage.
Yeah,
they could definitely pull it off there. So,
dude, I'd love to see the Decemberists.
It was their Hazards of Love tour. It was pretty sick. They just played that whole album.
Oh fuck yeah!
That's like that whole story. It was pretty sick.
That sounds dope.
I think it was Dim and the New Pornographers, I think.
I mean, that's kind of wild though. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be a cool back to back. You mentioned Modest Mouse just a second ago. Have you ever seen them play?
2007. Troy and Josh and myself went to Download Fest at the Gorge because they were playing.
Yeah.
And we got there super early and didn't realize that there was like 2 other stages. So we just thought it was the main stage because it was it's supposed to be Honest Mouse, Incubus, Nada Surf, Presidents of the United States, which they were fucking amazing. And there was one other, but like the main stage didn't start till like 3 or 4, so we were just like sitting around the whole time. And it was like, the side stages, kind of where like, the Gorge, like when you watch where they have, stages all spread out.
Yeah.
It was like where they kind of have like the food court-ish area. There was a stage there and we didn't even know.
Oh my
we didn't go over there.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, because that is like, I remember they've always had like kind of a good spread whenever they have like a festival there. But dude, like that'd be sick to see Modest Mouse, Incubus, Nada Surf, and like those 4. That's such a good, like, I mean, what a weird but kind of awesome lineup.
It was the year that Modest Mouse put out We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank.
Oh shit, yeah.
One of my more favorite albums of theirs, but they were really good. Album. And of course they had to play Float On and the big ones. And they just kind of look annoyed when they played that.
I get the feeling they probably are. I remember seeing them. God, dude. I mean, maybe 5 years ago. At of all places, the Key Arena. And dude, that place, the Key Arena. Whatever. It was a staple for a bit, but it was just so awful. Like the sound in that place is just harsh.
Saw Paul McCartney there. Yeah.
And
saw Paul McCartney in 2006 there.
Oh, dude. When the Mouse took the stage, Isaac Brock came out, and you could tell, dude, like that dude had been drinking, because he was just he was already kind of like a little sweaty and just sort of like
sweating the booze out.
And he like picks up his guitar and they start playing, and it's like the first song, the first note he goes for, he just breaks some strings and the song's going, and so he like has to change out his guitar really quick and everything. But it was like it was definitely like, I think they played a couple of songs off that album. I think they played Black Cadillacs, if I remember correctly, which is cool. I love that song. And there are some really awesome like songs on that album in general, but I think because like the association of like them blowing up with that, I feel like you watch them play a song from there and like the joy gets sucked out of Isaac Brock's eyes.
He plays Ocean Breathe Salty and it's just like
he's like,
hey, but you can't hate it. That's what got you there. So
well, and that's kind of it, and that album in particular is the exact thing that popped up into my mind when I listened to like that newest track that dropped this week, which
something in between, or We Are the In Between.
We are between. I'm gonna try and look it up, but how did you feel about that overall? That
it was just old school Modest Mouse for the most part, like not what is it? What was that album? Gravity Rides Everything. Was that the album, or The Moon in Antarctica? Not that style.
Yeah.
Modest Mouse, but like post Good News.
Definitely.
And Back the Arrow.
I would say
kind of peak Modest Mouse, I would say.
Yeah. I think like, how do I say this? I don't think he I always say he.
Yeah, he's
Modest
the driving
Mouse is
force, essentially.
Isaac Brock is, but the mouse itself, it seems like they, I don't know. It's not like this track isn't like super like poppy or anything like that, but it definitely has more traces of like modern music influence, and I think that's. Yeah. You know, I think it's reminiscent of things that came off of that, you know, that happened on Good News for People that,
you know, Bad News, whatever that.
Yeah, whatever it is. You know, because it was sort of like their inadvertent like pop success, and I think that like I don't think it was maybe necessarily like written to be that, like that album in general, things like Ocean Breathe Salty. And I get like I think it's the same thing with this
Dance Hall.
I think it's sort of this, like, I think they might be heading. I mean, this is the single from the album, probably.
Yeah, it's probably like you see, going back to the Manchester album, the 3 singles they put out were definitely not the best songs on the album. It's just like, for sure. You got, I mean, that's with every artist. Like, they'll put out the poppy, catchy stuff, but it's not always going to be the best on the album.
Yeah, exactly. I think of all people, Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, he was doing this interview talking about his 3005 album, and or sorry, 3005. Wow, see, this is exactly what he was referencing, because the internet. That's the name of the album, which is a fucking phenomenal album. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But he was talking about like just the need for the radio track, the need for the pop track, and so he makes this song 3005 that grabs all the attention needed for the album itself to get momentum.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I don't know, you know, it's not a new concept, but for some reason, like, him breaking it down like that really like kind of clarified that process to me. I was like, I guess it makes sense though, you know? Like,
sometimes you end up like skipping that track and you listen to the album and you're like, I've heard this so many times.
Exactly. You're just like, all right, I know this is the radio song, I don't need it. But you know, it just like this song, with this Modest Mouse song, we are between, it made me like intrigued to see what the whole album is gonna be, you know what I mean? Like that, because like Isaac Brock's vocal work is very, very Modest Mousey, as you know. I love that.
Typical.
There was like the thing that kind of made that kind of was like different to me about this song was that there was like this kind of like driving beat to almost the entirety of the song. And I feel like a lot of times there will be like, you know, driving kind of elements to Modest Mouse songs, but then there will be like breaks in that. And I don't think
just
you got
random shit.
Yeah, and I don't think you got necessarily much of a break in that drive, which sort of made this like kind of like a different track. And not that that was unenjoyable; it was actually really cool. I think like that in combination with like Brock's vocals and like the guitar tone and like all this stuff that was going on, really, like, I don't know, it was a really cool like, I don't know, I was really, like I said, I was really excited to like see what the whole album and the whole picture this like piece is coming
from. It was only like 3 minutes long. It was kind of a short song too.
Yeah, definitely nothing.
It's definitely like has the feel of, oh, this is like the second track on the album kind of song.
Yeah, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, man. Like, like
second or third, something early on.
They'll come out with like a really like a, you know, like the intro swinger, like, you know, will be like a haymaker for everybody, and then they'll be like right in between to like the radio song right into like something a little more I don't know, album crafting in general is a whole art form itself. You know what I mean? Like crafting the track listing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in that shit. Like, it'll be cool.
Yeah, I think it comes out June 25th.
Yeah,
I think that's what when I was listening to radio today, they were talking about it. Yeah, so month and a half of play. Yeah, basically.
Man. Well, we'll see. We'll have to hold our breath till then. Man, in between, like, not only has there been like some good music drops, but there's been like some really like just good, like, you know, like things popping up on streaming, like movie wise and like TV, like show wise and whatnot. I've been getting like, I don't know if I can't remember if I talked to you about this or not, but there's a show called Warrior on HBO Max that's like,
you've seen that.
It's pretty dope, dude. There's like I think two seasons. I think there's a third one like that will be put up on there eventually. It's just kind of like it takes place in like San Francisco, like kind of like sort of post gold rush, you know, but like pre Civil War. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, so
no.
That.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like 19th century. San Francisco.
Mid 19th century, yeah. And so the 1849 was the gold rush.
Yeah, and it's based on like some like work that Bruce Lee did, because like scripting and like writing some like ideas for a TV show, you know, when he was alive.
Yeah,
and basically because of like, you know, just the way Hollywood was back then, it didn't get pushed through and made. But you know, that's basically what the show is. And it's fucking dope, dude. Like if you're into any sort of martial arts, like there's some really awesome like fight sequences. There's this interesting struggle between like the Chinese workmen, the Irish workmen, and like the
that was
city government
all over San Francisco. Yeah, like Chinese basically built the railroad system over there.
Yeah,
working for pennies.
I would definitely recommend checking it out though if you just want to watch some like cool fight sequences and shit. It's pretty it's pretty dope. But yeah, I don't know. I you know, I've known people that were like joking around about like when Wonder Woman was coming out, you know, doing like the trial of HBO and then just dropping it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I really think like, dude, they keep chucking out some good content. Like there's really some like some of the movies, you know, Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. I need to though. I didn't see any of the previous ones, but I'm sure it doesn't matter. Really.
No.
It's just dumb, like, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever you call the.
It's just a monster movie, man. It's monsters fighting, dude, and it's exactly what you want. It's fucking dope.
Shut your brain off and just watch it.
But then they've had like the other like kind of bigger streaming movie that I was waiting for to pop up was the Mortal Kombat movie that just came out.
Yeah. That was sick.
That was fucking sick, dude. Yeah.
The gore in that was way more intense than I expected.
Definitely. I knew they were embracing fatalities and stuff, but they were, some of them looked straight out of like the video games. Like it was fucking sick, dude. Like Kung Lao's
pulling that heart out of Reptile.
Oh my god, dude. That was awesome. Kano was actually probably, you know, even though he was a piece of shit, really, Kano was probably my favorite character. Like just because he was like his timing and his jokes and like that actor nailed it, dude. It was so fucking entertaining.
Yeah, I remember watching the original Mortal Kombat like years ago, but like it made me want, like, I think I want to go back and watch it because it's on HBO Max right now because of that. I believe Annihilation is.
I think Annihilation is also
a trash movie. Like
they took it too far with Annihilation.
It was like Johnny Cage dies in the first like 2 minutes of that movie. It is so bad. Like Raiden gets a haircut. He just like he's a crew cut. I'm like, what the fuck, Raiden?
Yeah, dude.
The Raiden so bad, but it's hilarious.
The Raiden in those movies that was played by the guy who played Highlander. I can't remember his name, but he just looks so absurd as that role.
He was the dad in Dexter. I remember that actor. I don't know who he is exactly, but
I can't remember either. But yeah,
dude, it's a guy from Sideways, I think.
He's what's his name? I might look it up.
I know he's in Sideways. Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti. Oh my god, that is a fun movie. Actually, I like that movie.
Yeah.
But dude, the Mortal Kombat, man. Mortal Kombat was. Well, who was your favorite character overall in the?
I don't know. I like that Liu Kang. Liu Kang. I like how he wasn't like the main guy like he always was.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
It actually kind of made me like his character.
Raiden was just like Raiden was just like a fucking bystander, basically. You know, he was like a referee in all this.
Yeah, well, and that was kind of what was interesting is that they kind of made him more background than I
impartial. At least
Well, he did.
I always loved Sub-Zero, so
fair, dude. Sub-Zero was sick. That whole, I mean, you could tell like it was an interesting attempt to, I don't know, like kind of give more story and character to the characters like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, for instance.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
give a background to those guys that you never really had.
Yeah,
you know?
which is kind of interesting. I mean, you could definitely tell that there's like things they did in this movie that were meant to like initiate storylines for further movies.
Oh yeah, especially the end.
Definitely. I mean, like, what was he like? Not everybody stays dead. See, I mean, they basically allude to like the fact that like not everybody stays dead.
Yeah. And, you know, Sub-Zero is coming back as Nuke Cybot, you know, whatever that character was in Mortal Kombat games.
Well, exactly. But it's dope that they're following that, dude. Because like even the things like Sub-Zero and Scorpion having that beef, like that's like an eternal beef between those clans.
Yeah.
And that plays out during, you know, like the games. And so it was really cool to like embrace that. And on top of like plot elements like that they embraced, like embracing this, even just like the dialogue at moments, even though it seemed kind of forced at times, I felt like it was so much fun that they like would try to find like a reasoning for Liu Kang to say flawless victory after like killing somebody, you know. They
had to shoehorn that in. It's like it was cheesy in a certain way, but it was awesome the way they did it. Like you have that video game nostalgia. I mean, everybody's played Mortal Kombat. Like they're still making Mortal Kombat games.
Absolutely, man. So I thought it was really cool that how they did that. Like I think, to be honest, I think Kung Lao's fatality that he performed was probably my favorite. Yeah, like just because like he's one of my all-time favorite characters. And so it was just like that was straight out of like a game, I swear. Like he you know, like throws his hat on the ground, like basically rides that body through it and cuts it in half or whatever. It was just like, oh my god, dude. Like the blood and gore was exactly what I wanted from a Mortal Kombat movie.
A lot of the costumes they nailed too, because if you look at the Kung Lao's costume in that, it's the exact same as like just as I was watching the movie, I was like, I just went like Mortal Kombat characters on Google and like just going through them. I'm like, damn, they look like exactly like him. Or like, who's this guy? You know?
Yeah, dude.
And you're like, oh, now he's like, now I recognize this person or whatever.
Yeah,
especially Kano. I didn't remember Kano at all.
Well, I remembered Kano mostly from like the first movies where he was just like this really crappy character with like this like really obvious like fake metal like red eye thing going on, and it was just like I don't know, it was way like this version of him was way more like interesting, that's for sure. Like there's a little bit of depth, a little bit of like humor, you know.
Just a mercenary.
Just a mercenary.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. I'm interested to see, like, apparently the Sub-Zero actor has been like signed on for multiple, like his contract was for multiple movies, and you know, he's probably not the only actor that also has that in their script or their contract. So I imagine that they're planning on going ahead with another you know, sequel to this. So I hope so.
I think the guy who plays Scorpion, he's actually a pretty big actor. I swear I've seen him in certain things.
He's one of those, like, I probably am just blanking on his name in the wrong moment, but I agree. I've seen him in numerous things, and that was sort of surprising to me. I was like, whoa, dude, they've actually pulled in some like legit, like. I
think he might have been in a Marvel movie. I think he was in a Marvel movie or something like that.
Yeah, I want to say he was the guy. Oh my gosh, this is so obscurely. He was the guy that Hawkeye, aka Ronin, kills.
Yes, that's who I was thinking of. And in Endgame.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, I know I've seen that guy before.
Yeah, and I've seen him in other things before too. But it's like that's the one that stands out at the moment. But
he's pretty mainstream.
And same thing with the Sub-Zero actor. I've seen him before too.
Oh, definitely for sure on him.
I think he might have even been a Warrior, dude. Like he
was, one of them was in Warrior. or thought, like, remember looking at their like filmography? Yeah. So that guy, the guy who played Sub-Zero was Lee Yong in Warrior.
Okay, yeah. That, yeah. And again,
he was in Star Trek Beyond.
Yo, Star Trek Beyond. I've been catching up on some Star Trek, but did you hear a while ago Quentin Tarantino had apparently penned a Star Trek story?
It'd be his 10th movie would be Star Trek.
That was like this weird rumor going around, was that like he was trying to go out on the Star Trek note. But apparently it was a good script, and they they wanted, like, there was like some like desire to do something with it, and I don't know if it would ever come to fruition, but I guarantee it wouldn't be like Tarantino directing it, probably.
I don't think he's gonna stop after 10 movies either, but who knows?
I really doubt
he's weird
it.
like that.
It's got to be like a matter of like, if he's bored enough, I imagine he'd continue to make movies or something. But if he's just like, he might like take a break, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he's gone too long, then I don't know, might be detrimental. But I hope he makes more than just the 10. It's fucking Tarantino, dude.
I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was one of his better movies. A little long.
One of my favorite moments in that movie, and I'm probably not the only one, was just the suddenness of like Brad Pitt throwing that can of dog food into like that person's dome, and it was just like, it was just like this. Like,
wasn't he high on mushrooms or that, or was or on LSD? So like, he was,
he gets this like smoke from the hippie girl, like that's like dipped in acid or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't know, man. Like, that'd fuck you up. I'm not interested in that.
Like a joint that was stoked in PCP or something.
Oh my god, dude! Wasn't that what, like that's just a cigarette dipped in formaldehyde? That's like a Sherm stick, right? Like,
oh god. I only know jazz cigarettes.
Fair enough. There's nothing wrong with a jazz cigarette. That's
a little jazz.
A little jazz in one's life is always great. Oh man.
Did you like Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I did. I thought it was overall it was a cool series because it like expanded things that were happening in the MCU that I didn't really like think about to like expand on, like just like the idea of like what are all, like, how is the world dealing with all these people out there after they've
they just
disappeared and come back, as well as like the interesting racial tones that they talked about. Like, I think that was one of the brilliant things about the original story, like comic run that led to Sam Wilson Captain America. And I think they did. I think they adapted it really well. And it was like that. And for me, what sold it was just was, to be frank, the suit. Like his
suit was sick.
His Captain America suit was so fucking cool.
I like the weight on it.
Yeah, dude. And like the way that, like, I don't know, I just like the way he has that set up with his wings and like, being able to like in tandem use the shield and the wings and like all these elements that he has at his disposal. It just makes him like such a badass character that I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and the accuracy that they tried to portray with like things like the costumes and like the kind of comic run itself was really cool.
Because wasn't the U.S. Agent was part of that comic book and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, well, and that whole like his John Walker's like storyline is really interesting. I think they did a really good job with it because that itself, like it touches on basically like what the U.S. government does to like its soldiers all the time. Where it's
although we're getting tetanus shots.
It's like and it's like like they do things without your consent. They train you and dispose of you, just like return you to like life after you may or may not have experienced things. And they did a really good job kind of like bringing that dialogue to the forefront with his character, even though his character could have been pretty one-dimensional.
Yeah, I really hated him at first. Oh, God, this guy's lame.
Exactly, dude. No, that was exactly it. Like that first moment you see him, you're like, who's this fucking asshole?
Who's
like
this nerd?
Yeah, like exactly.
In this
Dude, he just looks
Captain
like
America suit.
he looks like a goon who just like somehow happened upon like a replica shield. He's like, hey guys, look at me, I'm Captain America.
Looked like he was going to a con or something like that.
Exactly.
Cosplay.
It's fucking cosplayer over here. But like that was the cool thing, is like they started him in that place and they really developed his character really well.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the season, you're like, God, dude, like I understand.
Feel bad for him.
Yeah,
sure.
I feel bad for him, you know? Like especially that moment where his partner dies, dude. That shit was hard, man. Like that guy slams against the wall and just like limp. Like you're like, oh fuck, dude. Oh god.
Wasn't in the comics it was actually his parents that died instead of his best friend or something? Because I remember watching like Easter egg breakdown after that episode. They're like, yeah, originally in the comics it's like his parents that die that kind of set him off.
I couldn't rightly say off the top of my head, but you know, I mean, this seems like a pretty like
typical superhero bullshit.
Yeah,
like, parents dead.
But you know, John Walker's always been kind of this interesting character, and you know the way they set up the end of that series really leads to some like interesting potential storylines for future MCU stuff. You know, you have Sharon Carter, who ends up being revealed as
the power broker.
The power broker,
which I think everybody like by the second to last episode, we're like, yeah, it's definitely gonna be her. It's not gonna be.
Well, because it was just sort of like, how does she have all this like money and influence?
Yeah.
And, like, you know, everybody does everything she fucking wants, apparently. Yeah. So,
people were thinking it was gonna be who was that one guy from Captain America, that like old professor Nazi guy?
Oh.
And doesn't in the comics he gets his like his mind and stuff like put into like a computer or something like that. I can't remember. And then he has this like electric something sauce panel.
It's like Z. I think it begins with a Z. Armin Zimthon. But they kind of touch on that in Captain America too, where like he's
in the computer. I remember that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, I don't fucking remember. I don't know.
People were thinking that he was going to be the power broker and show up at the end of that.
That'd be kind of interesting. Because like there's got to be, I mean, well, I guess they're going to be involving Hydra to some degree, further down the road, because Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like her character is AKA Madam Hydra.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. I was like,
and so
I didn't know who that is, but she seems like interesting. She'll be a pretty big character going forward.
But I wish that would have been like I feel like a kind of a how do I say it? No discredit to her, but I feel like it would have been kind of a cooler idea of like reintroducing Hydra, like say like it's like Zoloff or something like that. I don't know, Z something. Yeah. But like he like if he's been like basically running like a system through his computer programming or whatever. Yeah. It's been like gaining power. Like that'd be kind of cool. But I think what they're doing is they're really trying to like build up this potential. Like DC is gearing up to drop Suicide Squad. And this Suicide Squad looks fucking dope.
It looks way better.
It looks fucking dope. God bless James Gunn. Like, John Cena's Peacemaker looks fucking awesome too though. But anyways, like that's gearing up to probably be a big movie. And I think the MCU has been trying to gear up to do basically their version of that, which is called Thunderbolts.
Oh yeah.
And that's also, that's this like, anti-hero group, villain group that is being forced to do hero-like shit sometimes. And that involves, like Baron Zemo.
He's gonna lead that, people from the craft. Is it the raft or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. And that was it. They made like a few like, moments of like purposely mentioning the raft when they were talking about like, Zemo's going back to the raft. Like,
Yeah.
And so like I think that's where they're headed. There was this these heavy rumors that the Black Widow movie was supposed to feature some potential like tie to a Thunderbolts project.
Because that movie was supposed to, so that movie technically took place before Captain. So we should have that should have been out and people would have, because Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in that.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, that would have been her introduction.
Yeah, rather than in Winter Soldier, you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, oh, okay.
Like, who is this lady?
You're operating, doing something.
Yeah, and so I think it would have made more sense had people been able to see Black Widow before that, but I'm sure people go back and rewatch it. So.
Oh yeah, but Black Widow is going to be coming out.
June, July.
I think yeah. So I mean, within the next couple.
There's 4 Marvel movies that just hit like every other month.
Yeah,
ending with Spider-Man in December.
Yeah. This is like, it's definitely a good Marvel season, that's for sure. But
Loki
honestly,
looks good. Yeah,
Loki's probably I was just gonna say Loki's probably like the thing that they're producing that like I'm most looking forward to at the moment. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It looks like a really fun show. It looks like it has some really kind of like dark tones as well as like humor, and I don't know, like Tom Hiddleston's like Loki character has been kind of interesting to watch from the get-go. So
yeah,
and Owen Wilson is. Oh God,
I can't believe Owen Wilson's in that, but I'm excited for him.
I know, it seems so random. I was like, Owen Wilson.
Like, this isn't a Wes Anderson movie.